Hello, thanks for joining. This presentation provides a look at PDF optimization results from Solimar's ReadyPDF solution for a few different application types and use cases. This provides more insight into the capabilities and how customers are benefiting from PDF optimization in high-volume production environments. ReadyPDF's goal is to optimize PDF files so they process more efficiently for e-delivery, archiving, and production printing. ReadyPDF combines Solimar's expertise with PDF along with several other PDF optimization technologies enhanced with Solimar's customizations under one solution. This provides a high degree of functionality and robustness in several areas related to PDF optimization. The solution is ideal for high-volume environments and complex applications where applying the logic of multiple optimizers in one pass can make a profound difference on the end results related to file size, performance, and quality. So why would you want to optimize PDF files? Well, there's many specific areas and use cases related to this. It's very common for PDF creation tools to create files that are inefficient, have quality issues, or incompatible with a particular production process. The types of jobs you run or devices you're driving will also impact your goals. A service provider may have a different set of requirements than an in-plant, and a transactional mailer typically has different issues than a direct mailer, commercial print, or offset shop. An application intended for print versus e-delivery will also introduce different needs. The broad categories all of this falls into typically is related to performance, pre-flight, and the quality of output. So let's look at some of the specific goals our customers have identified when implementing ReadyPDF in these areas. The first set of goals are related to performance. Having your high-speed printer or press clutching or not running rated speed is not what you want to see. Files that take too long to process put you at risk of missing deadlines, while files that process with plenty of time to spare make for much less stress and a happier staff and customers. Usually the performance optimizations are under the covers in the PDF files related to its overall structure, compression, object removal, and how fonts and resources are used. The improved files also affect tangent areas in your workflow beyond performance, such as faster file transfers, less storage, avoiding production disruptions, and being able to take on more work. As you'll see in the example use cases, applications that have thousands of duplicate resources are far from optimal. The second set of goals are related to quality. Everyone wants their output to look the best and have predictable results, but in some cases the quality relates to the job having the colors way off or even printing monochrome when it's supposed to be color. ReadyPDF addresses several categories of output quality related to the resolution and color controls and standardization. Another use case is to standardize the image resolution of all jobs and flatten them so they have consistency in online archives and the production workflow. The third set of goals are related to pre-flight or quality workflows. This is especially important if you are continually receiving new applications to process. Validating that a file will actually print before sending it to production will save you a lot of time and headache. For example, if the PDF is missing fonts, has content off the page, or has page rotation issues, you don't want it to run through the entire production process only to have it error on the printer or print wrong. With ReadyPDF, files with missing or subsetted fonts, resolutions out of spec, mismatched page rotations, or other issues can be identified early on before production is impacted. Not only will ReadyPDF identify issues with files, it can resolve common problems. It can embed missing fonts, discard objects and user data that's not needed, and optimize the files to your standards, which can reduce ink usage and save time. The reporting provides a lot of detailed information about the file that you can use to identify issues and compare the original file to the optimized output. To assist with document analysis, ReadyPDF provides detailed reporting information about the content with a comparison of the before and after results of the optimization. This is useful as part of an application onboarding to determine what settings would be optimal for processing or to provide feedback to the group that is creating the PDF so they can look at making improvements to their output. Alright, now that we have a general idea of what types of optimizations customers use ReadyPDF for, let's take a look at a use case and a few sample application results. As an example, Canadian printer Gilmore DocuLink reported an impressive reduction in processing time from 24 hours down to only 1 hour. The first application is a direct mail postcard with fronts and backs 2-up that would cause clutching on the printer. The composition system duplicated the static resources on each page, which makes for a very inefficient PDF file for printing. By consolidating duplicate resources, the file size can be dramatically reduced and rip times improved. Optimizing PDF files doesn't always necessarily result in a smaller file size, but when resources can be consolidated, there can be a big difference. By consolidating and caching the X objects for this file, ReadyPDF reduced the overhead from 2.2 gigabytes down to only 1.7 megabytes. There are several other areas of consolidation, but the X objects in particular made the huge impact with over 340 times file size reduction for just 15,000 pages. The result is the job now runs at rated speed, and they no longer need the composition system to limit the output files to be broken down into smaller sections to keep the file sizes down for the printers. The next application is a transactional statement that shows the kind of difference font management can make. The sample file is 4,000 pages of customer invoices. It looks simple enough, but it has thousands of subset fonts in it. Having way too many fonts in the output is a typical challenge with PDF files. This can cause havoc on printers or any system that needs to process them. It's common for composition systems or lower-end transform solutions to use thousands of subset fonts when only a few fonts are actually needed for the file. ReadyPDF has several options to control how font handling is done, including consolidation, embedding, or the removal of unneeded fonts. A particularly powerful capability is the ability to consolidate subsetted fonts and identify when they are used. So the main challenge with this application is that those thousands of subset fonts cause a lot of file bloat and processing overhead. As the number of pages increased, the processing time gets worse and worse for printing. With only a 4,000 page sample, you can see almost a 10 times reduction in the file size after ReadyPDF, with the main difference in the optimized file being reduced images and fonts. Reducing the file overhead not only helps with production efficiencies, but reduces document storage requirements as well. This transactional application is an example of optimizing various elements in the output. The file uses variable images and a lot of fonts, along with other resource types. ReadyPDF can reduce the overall document overhead by removing unnecessary content related to objects and user data such as file attachments, metadata, and content that is off the page, and optimizing poorly structured and empty PDF objects. The file also uses a lot of images where optimization can help with an application's output may be at a higher resolution than what the printer or e-delivery needs. With image downsampling, you can reduce the file size of the output file and match what the presentation requirements are. This also helps with the standardization, which includes discarding alternate images, the compression type used, and conditional control of downsampling various image types to reduce the file size and document complexity. The results of this application is a big reduction in image and font overhead, along with the overall document structure. This is also an example of when archive systems need to store individual records versus an entire print file. All of the extra size for each record can eat up storage space like crazy, compared to archiving a single optimized file for each print run. This example is only 24 pages, but I'm showing it because in those few pages are a lot of subset fonts where only a few fonts are actually needed. In a production run with tens of thousands of records, the number of fonts increased in proportion to the more records there were. This caused havoc with systems that had to process these files. The result of font consolidation again shows how much difference it can make reducing output size by almost 7 times and improving the processing overhead and efficiency of any system that had to touch this application's PDF output. This transactional statement is another example that looks simple enough with mostly variable data, but the composition system does not make very efficient PDF output as far as being optimized for high volume production, as it's heavy in font, image, and an overall inefficient structure. So even though a PDF may look okay, it might be constructed quite inefficiently for production print purposes. Combining ReadyPDF's features can often correct files that have structural issues, so they are better suited for high volume processing. Here's a more technical look into the format of a PDF before and after ReadyPDF's processing related to optimizing the structure and caching out or consolidating objects. The before PDF file on the left has hundreds of individual path objects on each page that make up the marketing messages used. The overhead for printers RIP to process all of the duplicated path objects for each record can really drag down the performance. Running this file through ReadyPDF produces the output on the right, where the path objects or page content that make up the page still remains, but they are now contained in a single XObject form resources. The big difference this makes is that the XObject resource can now be cached so that all those individual path objects and other content only have to be processed once to avoid all the repeated processing compared to the original file. The result of optimization related to the file structure and resource consolidation again shows how much difference it can make in the file size, as it reduced the output size by almost 7 times and improved processing overhead and the efficiency of any system that has to touch this application's output. Here's an example of optimizing the same application related to color conversion to make it black and white. This is useful when receiving outsourced documents in color that need to be printed on monochrome toner-based devices, no color in the barcodes, or files that may not be formatted for the destination printer. Other color management features such as color profiles and rendering intent can be conditionally controlled as to what aspects of the PDF are affected. For example, images, text shading, and graphics, along with the various color types the file uses. The changes apply to the color objects such as images, text, graphics, and shading can also be conditionally controlled and different rules applied in a single pass of the file. The previous applications were more focused on print, so here's a use case for e-delivery and archive. ReadyPDF can optimize PDF for various destination types and use cases. That way, a single source PDF can be repurposed to support multiple delivery types and protocols. Viewing PDF documents online is a very common activity for most users on a daily basis. One of the most important factors when viewing documents online is file size. The smaller the file size is, the more responsive the web application is to the user. There are a number of other factors that contribute to an optimal user experience on the web. Many of our customers have the need to control the image resolution as part of delivery to multiple channels and destinations. This is a capability built into ReadyPDF. For example, if you have an application that needs to be printed and archived, the file may need to be printed at 600 dpi or higher resolution, and the archive file at 150 dpi or screen resolution for space savings in ePresentment. A common way companies used to accomplish this before ReadyPDF is that they would have to run the file through multiple passes in the composition system. This is not typically as fast or convenient as ReadyPDF, nor as cost-effective, as many composition systems charge by the click or the pass through the software. ReadyPDF does not charge in this fashion and can be leveraged for additional cost and time savings. As an example, let's look at an e-delivery use case. A large implant customer shared that their results were business changing. By utilizing ReadyPDF, they are seeing file size reductions that add up to actual storage requirements being only 4% of the original file size. For another application, the optimization reduces the output size by 92%, with a reduction of 660 megabytes down to 50 megabytes for the production runs. In daily processing, being able to reduce print batch sizes has other benefits. In production, they are able to reduce file size of production batches from 6.6 gigs down to about 500 megabytes so they can run more statements and files in each batch so they don't need to store as many file segments in their archive. Overall, this then saves on processing times and storage costs, along with improving document retrieval time from their archive. Here's a bit of additional general feedback from our customers. They run all PDF files through ReadyPDF prior to production, so they have a higher confidence level the files will process successfully at optimum performance. This has also reduced the number of tools that were previously used to process PDF files in preparation for production. Another use case is to standardize the image resolution of all jobs and flatten them so they have consistency in online archives and production. Most users also report that the efficiencies gained also reflect time savings. This has enabled companies to take on more work they used to turn away because of too much risk of missing service level agreements. They are now more confident in their ability to do more on-demand processing of applications. With more PDF-centric tools, they're able to move to accept more challenging work from new accounts and integrate it for their workflows with more satisfied customers. Our customers aren't the only ones giving great feedback about ReadyPDF. Keypoint Intelligence Labs is the world's largest business intelligence and testing provider of the digital imaging and business communications industries. As part of their market research related to printer digital front ends and RIPs, they evaluated ReadyPDF and tested technical files designed to exercise and stress test RIPs, along with the various real-world files, including catalogs, direct marketing, and transactional applications. The results so impressed them that they awarded ReadyPDF with the Outstanding Innovation Award for Production Printing. Their findings included reduced ripping times, which is very important because it improves the time for the first page out to the job's completion. For some DFEs with less powerful rips, this can help extend the life of the device by enabling them to run jobs at speed where they otherwise would not be able to run efficiently enough for desired production demands. They found that the optimizations also had positive results related to improving output quality related to spot color and color spaces in archiving. The enhanced productivity and efficiency findings included automated PDF inspection and correction to help streamline onboarding of production work without the requirement for manual intervention. They also noted that ReadyPDF streamlined PDF file complexity by optimizing resources and fixing structural issues, so they process more efficiently. Overall, they cited that ReadyPDF is able to deliver workflow efficiencies, impact sustainability, and advance ReadyPDF's market segments in meaningful ways. So in summary, ReadyPDF's benefits are important for significant reasons in today's PDF-rich marketplace. PDF files that have problems cause a domino effect of production issues related to printing, archiving, onboarding new work, meeting SLAs, and overall competitiveness and efficiency. You want your production to run smooth without printers clutching, manually reviewing jobs, wasting supplies and storage. By optimizing your PDF files, they perform better in a variety of processing areas. ReadyPDF makes streamlined output that can run faster and with less headaches in your overall production processes. ReadyPDF is part of Solimar's chemistry platform that provides solutions to many aspects of production, print, and e-delivery environments. The solutions can be implemented in a tactical manner for quick fixes, or a strategic phased approach to overhaul challenging or inefficient aspects of production environments, along with helping to improve overall security and compliance initiatives that you might be facing. I'd also like to remind you to take advantage of our Solimar University platform, which contains lots of great content from users sharing information, insight into industry best practices and trends, along with product training to help you get the most out of your applications and solutions. Thank you for your time. We're happy to answer your questions, test your applications, or arrange for you to evaluate ReadyPDF at your company.